And you played that, and I said, what the heck is that? And the thing about it was the most beautiful sound I ever heard it before in my life, and still to this day. Because it's like, I remember when SoundCloud started becoming a thing, right? And when SoundCloud started becoming a thing, there was all these producers out there and beat makers out there that were all making their beats with that lo-fi sound. Like the challenge became how AM radio sounded you could make it. You know what I mean? With some sort of sick xylophone loop in the back. That's normally like stereotypically speaking with these lo-fi beats, that's kind of what you're going with. It's either like some sort of filtered organ or like a filtered xylophone or bell or something like that. It's like pitched down, you know what I mean, where it has kind of like a cave type of reverb to it or something like that. And we fell in love with it. But if you can hear typified that in such a classic format, because it wasn't overdone, right? It was a simple loop, right? The drum beat wasn't just simple. It was kind of played around with a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when I heard that, that's like the first time I heard something that you would akin to what Dill is known for. You know what I mean? Like his drum patterns or whatever. Sean J. Perry and 88 Keys, right?
What was the name of the song again? By Mos Def?
If you can holler, you can hear. That was Mos Def.
Right now.
It was a beautiful song, and it still is. I was banging it the other day, and of course, the way Mos flows over it. Mos Def has another song called "All Praise Due," and Madlib did the beat, and it's likened to that with the organs that he did with it. It hit me the same way when I heard that. I said, "Oh my gosh." Oh my goodness, it was beautiful. But if you can hear. I spent years, right? By the time I got my studio together, right? When I say my studio together, I just mean like my monitors, you know what I mean, laptop, studio program, you know what I mean, maybe an MPC MIDI controller, not even the standalone, just the MPC MIDI controller. And right around I got all that was around the time that SoundCloud started getting traction. I started hearing all these lo-fi artists. And when that happened, it was almost like a renaissance for me, because it's like I just wanted to get rid of all the equipment I had and just go and get an SP404 and make all my beats strictly off of that. And what that brings me to is this. It was very likened to the day where there was an actual like renaissance in the Wooding household. And I put this, I told you about this a little bit, but we were living in Mount Laurel. Definitely, this is by the time that you and my brother and Willis and all of them was getting heavy into the rap thing, to where Adam went in his room and took out this deep drawer full of all the tapes that we had. They were all rock tapes, AC/DC, Metallica, Def Leppard, freaking John Bon Jovi, all of them. And my mother was there. This is a trip. My mother was there. She was there. She was in the living room with us. And we brought it all out. And Adam went into the kitchen and got a hammer and said, we're going to just destroy all the rock tapes. I'll never forget it. And we sat there and we went through each of them and had debates about all of them. Like, yo, what about this Bon Jovi joint? It is not hot. Nah, kill it. I'm like, okay. All right, what about this that Aerosmith joint? There's no bangers on there? Nope, destroy it. We destroyed all the rock tapes just out of allegiance to rap at the time. It wasn't because it's not like we hated any of them. As a matter of fact, some of those tapes got saved. You know what I mean? Because we were like, nah, there's a banger on that one. Or nah, that's a banger on that. Nah, we ain't going to smash that PM Dawn joint. That joint's kind of hitting right there. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
Do you sit back and think now, it's like, damn, I shouldn't have destroyed those tapes?
No. Nah, because here's the thing, P. Like, when it came like hip hop with me, when it started going mainstream, I went underground with it, right? And then when I was only getting spoon-fed, underground stuff via like college radio and whatever have you, that was all great. But then around that time, that's when I started traveling overseas. So when I went overseas, and I'm still hearing everything with a hip hop ear. So it's funny because I got introduced to other musics via hip hop first, right? Like, for example, one of my favorite artists in the world is Bjork. Like, I love her to death. But you couldn't get me to listen to her if I didn't hear the version of her song that Mixmaster Mike did with the Beastie Boys.
Right.
I heard that beat and lost my mind. And then I was like, yo, who's that vocalist over it? You know what I mean? Another group that would be like that is probably Portishead. You know what I mean? That loves to do the vocal things over the hip hop instrumental. You know what I mean? Another group that I fell in love with was Massive Attack. Massive Attack, you know what I mean? They blend a lot of that stuff in. I forgot who did a remix for one of them. But everything I heard, and then it kind of filtered into like a little electronica to where I started listening to some like British stuff like the Orb. And what was crazy about the Orb was that they were electronica music, but their beat patterns and bass lines were all like culture reggae dub. Mm-hmm. So you're hearing ambient electronic sounds like you would hear in a club, but over like culture reggae dub bass lines. How can that not be ill? Right? So I'm banging that type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, who's doing this? You know what I mean? Matter of fact, the Orb's got a couple of joints out with Lee Scratch Perry, and it blends beautiful because that's how they started from day one. But I didn't know what that was, especially then, because I didn't know I didn't get into reggae until well into my 20s. You know what I mean? And we're going back talking about 14, 15 years old. You know what I mean? So I still heard things with the hip hop here going in, and I still only listen to the bangers of certain genres of music, right?